welcome to my channel. This is Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media, and today I want to show some ideas on how to use stamping on pattern background or collage backgrounds, because you know we want to use our stuff and stamps are our stuff. And I wish that looked straighter than it does, but maybe it's straight. I don't know. It looks crooked to me. That might bug me. Anyway, like for instance, for this collage piece, you can use gesso or white paint, just a really thin layer. I used a matte white paint, and I just did a really thin layer of where I wanted my stamp to go. Kind of went a little messily around it. I didn't want it to be a perfect square of paint. I mean, you can have it be a perfect square of paint, so you could kind of like measure your stamp and see exactly where you want it. But the idea is just to push back the background so that your stamp shows up. And then another idea was to stamp on book page. I mean, you could stamp on plain book page, or you can do the same thing with the book page, and you could do a layer of paint, and then, you know, that pushes the book page back. Also, then you don't get this beautiful aged color. So, you know, there's that. And you can use any color paint. It doesn't have to be white. But yeah, so it pushes back the color, but the background, the words, but you also lose that aged look if you're using vintage paper like I did. And then this one is tea bag paper, so you can still see the white, but the dragonfly does definitely stand out amongst the, and you can still see the background a little bit. And then this is the napkin backs. You know, when you take the blank napkins off the back of your decorative napkins, I stamped on that, and that's when I realized that I could get a reverse of, because you know, I can't tell which side I stamped and which side I didn't. So if you have stamps like my designs, they're kind of a Art Deco style is what Mariah was thinking. Dad apologizes for that. Anyway, when I designed these, I was thinking of them as wings, these and this one as well. But we only have the one stamp, so if you want to make them as wings, all you have to do is stamp them on the back, the plain ply of the napkin, and then you have a back. And the napkin, where's that one? As you can see here, the napkin practically goes away. I mean, it still shows a little bit, but not much. So that is a way to get a reverse. In fact, I should go ahead and use those on something. But those are pretty wide. I had a little girl that I was going to put the wings on. I've lost her. She's gone. Anyway, so I'm just going to see if and then also you could just use, you know, paper bag. You can rip it and put it on, or you could cut it detailed, or whatever you want to do. So I thought I would just go ahead and do some decorating with some stamp focal points mostly. And then this one, I'm just going to stamp here where it's mostly plain already, so the black will stand out there. And I could add more stamping, stenciling, whatever if I want to, but for now I'm thinking I just want to kind of add that one stamp that I've now buried, possibly. And when I'm doing the white on the background, you could use a brush or you can use a card and just scrape it really thin. Oh, here he is. He's over here. And those are the ideas I've come up with so far. We'll see if I can come up with more. Also tissue paper, whether it is the plain tissue paper you get with gifts, or the wet strength tissue by Carnival or Tim Holtz, just to have that plain clear tissue, which I do have quite a bit of that, because when it got discontinued, it's okay if I really wanted it straight, but it's a hot air balloon. They're not going to fly straight in the air, so it's okay. Calm down, Darcy. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. But because it wasn't too busy of a background, I just chose, you know, put the stamp there. And I made it down low enough so that I could use my ear. Yeah, I still have paint on my hands, I realize. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is it. I can never get right in the middle. It's open, yeah. I usually do it on the back so I'm not swayed by, you know, see how this is uneven over here? That would have made it harder for me to see where the middle was. And I think this piece was a die cut. It was why it has that funky edge on there, which apparently made it harder to glue. I guess. I don't know why it wants to totally come off like that, but excuse me. But, you know, let's see. So, you know, that makes a cute tag. If you've got a journal that, you know, traveling, hot air balloons, whatever, that added just a little something. I kind of wish it could have been a bigger stamp, but that's the only hot air balloon stamp that I had, or I could have chosen a different, bigger stamp even. Let's see, we've got this here. So I grabbed out all my stamps that have like focal points on them. Oh, crumbs. And like for this one, I might even want something that's a little bit busier, since I have pushed back my my words quite a bit. And I am using the VersaFine. I don't have, I've been using black. I don't have to keep using black. I do like how the black is stands out, and the VersaFine has been my favorite. Alright, this is words on words. I'm not sure if this was the best idea, but I had covered this quite a bit with paint, so, oh, it's fine. It will take a minute because even though it's a matte paint, it's not quite as porous as just the paper would be. So, so yeah, that worked all right. And that's the best stamping I've got of that, is with the VersaFine ink. So, then I just kind of did that just to get some of the excess ink off so that I don't touch it and smudge it. You know, which is what I'm likely to do. And then also I've used just a tea-dyed paper, and I like to do my mushrooms, especially on the other. I have some tea-dyed graph paper, any kind of paper. You can grab your box of scraps backings and go through those to see what would work, as long as it's not super busy, because like this would work. The black would stand out on that. These little printables, they would also work. I'm gonna grab that one out. That has a pattern on it, but it would still work. Like these have patterns on it, they would still work. Just plain coffee dyed paper would also work. These are just little printables that are fairly plain. Those would also work. I'm not sure if this would work, but we'll try it just to see, because it's just such a dark color against the white that it might be harder for the black to be shown. That could even work. Just something that is going to help the stamp to stand out a little bit. Something that's not, I'm going to see what that looks like. But yeah, check your scraps for things that you can stamp on. For sure and for certain. Your scraps, your book page, any of your tissue paper, your napkins, all that kind of stuff. Just check it out and see what you like. Alright, let's find something. I want something. Oh, we can do a car. Obviously, I don't use my cars very often. I've used that one before. Let's try that one again. It's kind of an old car. And it will fit on this, I think. So, I got the lines. Most of these blocks have lines, which help to get it straight. So that if my car is, see, he doesn't look straight even though the line I want to line up is this line. Is the one I want to line up, because that's the one that makes it feel straight. So even though I was thinking the wheels need to be straight, it's actually that line that I'm looking at on this particular one. And then I can kind of see my words here and my sides and kind of line it up really well. I'm pressing with purpose. I'm not pressing like wicked hard, but just kind of pressing with purpose. And there we go. We have our car. And that needs to dry for a minute. I'm going to do this again. Whoops. Just to get anything that's super wet off of there so I don't smudge it. But that looks cool. And then when you ink it, it'll look even better because paint and ink, you know, take a little bit differently. All right, we're going to try, I don't need a bunch of cars. We can do him on here though because he's kind of a grungy, him as in this car. All right, so I'm also going to use the line. This line right here on the truck, that's the line I'm looking at. Is this going to be big enough? Yes. For my straight. And then I'm going to use my block. That side's a little too busy maybe. Let's do it here. So I'm lining up that bottom line with my paper. See this white line here? I lined it up with the bottom of the paper. And that is how I'm trying to get this to be straight. Just because, I don't know. It is helpful if your acrylic blocks are clean so you can see through them. It's super helpful if you do that. So that's kind of cool. So that can go now on a piece that is collaged. Maybe not that one. Let's see. I have a bunch of collage pieces, but now I have to look for like the color. All right, here we go. This one maybe? Maybe? I don't hate the green on there. Just kind of rip it down. Or you could even cut it out little, you know. But I don't need to do that. It's kind of like a collage, piece of collage to add to the front, sort of. There we go. That's cute. And then I could add like a ticket or a label or something to one side or the other. That one's finished. It's in the wrong place. So yeah, we make these masterboards, which is a larger piece that you could collage on, paint on, do whatever on, that you cut down to make pockets and tags and stuff, which I have a million of. Feels like a million. There will be a million once I cut them down, just saying. So yeah, it's just, it's crazy how many I have. So, you know, focal points are what my go-to for those, but sometimes you want to use your stuff, you want to use your stamps, and it's a little bit more tricky to use them on all this pattern background. So I wanted to show some ways, and then let me know if you have any other ideas that I haven't come up with, because I have no doubt that there are more. I'm not the, I don't have all the ideas. Oh good, I was like, am I even in camera? I gotta check, always check. I lost a car. It's alright, we'll find it later, Darcy, don't worry about it. Alright, I'm gonna ink this up, and then we're gonna try some of these papers too, right? Oh yeah, and I love doing the mushrooms on this paper, the little mushrooms, the, where are they? They were with my plants. They're not there now. They got moved about the cabin. There they are. These mushrooms, the Tim Holtz mushrooms. I love doing them on this paper, and then those I am more likely to use the brown because it's going to be like in a woodsy kind of a journal most likely. This is a VersaFine Claire, which apparently is supposed to be even better. So let's see. I'm just gonna not worry too much about it if it's super straight or not, because I didn't put it on something first. So there's that. And then you can rip it down. I'm gonna let it dry for a minute first. You can rip it down, ink the edges, and put it on. Oops. And then, you know, put it on there. You can use your ruler to tear it. You could just, you know, free tear it. You could fussy cut around it or kiss cut or whatever. Either way, your little picture is going to stand out a little bit more without losing all the collage in the background. You still see some of that collage in the background. And if I wanted to tear it a little closer, I'd see even more. Just making this a focal point. And then see that line right there? I wouldn't want to have this here and then have that line up there. So I would probably do that so that, even that, so that that kind of like connects those two pieces there. But then also I want to cover that down there. So, you know, you have to decide where you like it. Or use a whole different piece. It doesn't have to be that big one. It could be a smaller one. Or it could even be this little pocket. Need a smaller one for the pocket probably. Actually, that's not too bad, because I would just cut that off depending on which way you want your pocket to go. So yeah, that's another thing I like to use. Oh, here, this is perfect, because there's like a big patch of that color right there, and that breaks that up, and still you see that pattern back there. So that I like a lot. And it's got the brown, it's got a little bit of blue. I could add a little blue label there. Alright, let me find a couple things and I'll be right back. Okay, I've gone ahead and inked these two and put them on here, and then I'm going to add a label to this one. And down a little bit if I can. Just have most of that mushroom shell. And I'm going to add one over here as well. I kind of want to add something else, but I don't know what. We'll figure it out eventually. But for now, I'm just bringing some of that blue over to this side, because there's heavy blue over here, and you know, there's blue up here, but not much down here. So, and I see this navy-ish blue, kind of blue, like especially this dark blue. I see that as a neutral. So, plus blue and green go together. I mean, really. So, there's that. I don't know if you can see it because I'd have to stand up. I don't want to stand up. Alright, and then this one I want to add, I need to do this first. If I want to round my corners, then I want to do that before I add on a whale tail on the side, because otherwise I won't be able to reach that corner. So yeah, I think this one, because it kind of goes with that light blue there pretty well. This one also would have worked. It's a little bit shiny, but you know, still would have worked. And this one could have worked as well, because it's got blue and green in it as well. But I think I like this one. I do want to ink it first a little bit. This is what I cut from my, could do it that way, but no, I like the more plain on the front. The back can handle all that more than the front. The front's already fairly busy. Busy's not a bad thing. I know I probably made it sound like it was the other day when I was like, well, this one's kind of busy, one of my tags, because I know someone was like, I actually like the busy one. I'm like, yeah, it was good. It was just had more on it than the other ones, which made it look busier, but that didn't mean it didn't look good. So there we have a journal card. It can pull out of a side, you know, a side pocket there, and the mushrooms will peek out and everything. Journal on the back. Then we have this one, which could be a pocket or a journal card sideways. And then let's go ahead and do something with these to show. This already has a bee on it. I don't really want to cover the other bee, but ooh, this one's fairly busy. Alright. I don't want to lose so much of the background. But, you know, I also kind of want to highlight that this is, you know, the recycled paper too. And there's like a lot of lines in here that I would want to cover anyway. It doesn't fit this way, does it? Well, he could go crooked. Alright, so I'm going to make sure I cover those lines there. And these flowers, I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and glue that on there. And that's not the one I want. I want this one, and I want my ground espresso. I know they both look like coffee, but I re-inked this one with ground espresso. So I just kind of want to ink my edges. And if you have trouble fussy tearing, the secret there is to, you know, put your thumb where you want it, you know, where you don't want it to tear, so you don't tear too far, and then just, you know, hold your thumb there really well, and just use your other finger to just kind of get it as good as you can. Some papers are easier than other papers. It depends on the grain of the paper. Some papers have a grain that only wants to go one way, and tearing it the other way is virtually impossible. Alright, I think I'm going to put that right there. My glue's starting to dry out a little bit because I haven't been putting the cover on, because I've just been setting it in the little thing. I have a little place where I kind of sit it. I put it upside down so that it doesn't dry out completely, but it's not as good as a cover. Let's just say that. Now, I could do a couple things. I could just fold that over too. I could cut the tag down so it fits better, or I could add a quote or a word or something. I wouldn't mind adding, we've got that blue on there. This is not my favorite blue. I've learned that I am not crazy about like a royal blue. I love navy blue as far as the eye can see, but the royal blue, I'm just not a huge fan of it. Yep, I'm covering his wing a little bit. I'm okay with that. Because the line was bugging me more, and I wanted to go all the way over. Oh, I go up a little bit. There we go. There. I don't lose as much of his wing now. Something here, like a word or a phrase or a quote. Let me check my quotes. So these quotes came off like this little calendar that I had, and I just rip them out and stick them in here. Let's see, it's never too late to be what you might have been. I don't need any, nothing is really ours until we share it. I don't need anything too big is what I'm thinking. I like this quote, but I want it a little shorter, so I'm gonna take off the name and put that on the back. That, you know, I like to give credit. Oh, we don't have to do that. We'll just do this. I like to give credit, but I don't have to give credit on the front. It can be anywhere. But I will still make sure that the person who said the quote gets put on there. And then make sure I put on the right quote. That's always good too. Oops, that was loud. Sorry about that. And then my fingers are all dirty, so this is going to get really grungy. I'm going to add some of the coffee as well, just to de-whiten it. And I'm going to cover up his leg just a little bit, because, well, I don't want to line it up with that, because that's just me. I could go further out, or I could go further in. I don't like things lined up. That's just me. I'm more of a brickum. You know how bricks are not lined up with each other, they're kind of offset. That's kind of, there we go. Alright, that's not too bad. Put that upside down in that. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know, it's not my favorite, but that might just be because we've got the shiny and there's just a lot going on, but it still looks good. It's fine. It's fine, everything's fine. Alright, and then we had these that we did. If I could just put things in the same place every time, it would make my life happy. So much happier. Okay, and then I'm using my words in the background so that I can get it fairly straight when I tear it out. And I don't have to ink it in brown. I could ink it in, you know, whatever color I'm going to put it on. Anything really. Could also add a little bit more stamping. You know how I do. Alright, I'm just kind of grungying that up a little bit. Like, maybe I want to take this, and once I decide which tag I'm going to put that on, or journal card, maybe I'll pick a color. Probably don't want to do one with a quilt on it. It might be a little odd. Car and a quilt. Oh, this one's good and grungy. Will it fit this way? It could fit this way, because it could go off a little bit. fit this way even better. We cover a lot. As long as I have this grungy bit showing over here. And then, alright, let me go ahead and glue that on. This, and knock stuff over. It sounds delicate because it kind of sort of is. That's the one, this is the one I've been putting, you know, I got little things that I put my glues in because, you know, why not? One was my mom's, one, I don't know, I can't remember where it came from. I think it had a little cork thing on the top and everything, but doesn't anymore. Still want all that to show down there. There we go. And maybe I want to bring this orange back in a little bit more, which looks kind of like a marigold, carved pumpkin, wild honey. Oh, it looks more like spiced marmalade. Yeah, spiced marmalade. So I'm going to bring that orange in a little bit more with this stamp, my grid stamp. It's one of my favorites. Alright, and I'm not very good. Alright, so I just want to kind of come around the edges. I don't really want to get it on the car itself. So I'm just kind of, and it wasn't super dark, so it's just really light, but it just adds a little something. So that added a little bit more orange as well. And then if I wanted, this is probably going to be a pocket, so I don't want to really add much else. Oh, I could add a, I don't know if I have any orange ones. Where's my, a ticket or a label. Where'd my labels go? There they are. I know Tracy Fox doesn't have orange ones. But these are not just hers. These are like all of them. Oh, what's this? I think this one is from Louisa Heinzel. So that, over here is an orange one. But it's too big, so I'm gonna just make it just the number and not the A. Put my cover on my ink so I don't end up with a mess. And then that can just go, oh, even right there. So I could have put the bigger one there, but that's alright. I could even put the A on here somewhere, just randomly. Because why not? Alright, that there. Is that weird? Yeah, whatever. Might be weird, might not be weird. I really need to go wash my hands. All that gesso I was playing with earlier. And you just play with the gesso when you're doing the gesso. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, you don't want it to be perfect. You don't want to necessarily go all the way to the edge with it. I don't know if you guys want me to actually show one. Alright, so now we've got a little bit more orange on there. So now that one is done. Whoops. Let's go ahead and cut this one down. So I'm kind of using, I can see where the words are, so I'm trying to kind of get it straight with that. And then the words down here. And then the side. And there we go. Alright, here's the thing. That seems really off to me. So I'm going to tear it to his wing and tear it up to his wing. And then I'm going to fussy cut this wing right here. Because those are the kinds of things I sometimes do. And then ink it. Maybe we'll come back in with a, you know, a little background stamp on this one too, but let's see where it's going to end up. It's a little, covers a little too much on that one, so we want something a little bigger. This tag's good. And then we could add a little bit of yellow. Which yellow? We got a brighter yellow, so not the lemonade one, but the mustard. I think the mustard seed might be good. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to glue this on. And just kind of put that off to the side over here. Just pull it down. I only pulled it down a tiny bit so his wing would cover where that line was. That was it. And he looks really white on there. So I want to add a little bit of yellow something. Just some little circles even. So I'm going to do this again, and I'm just kind of like pressing around the outside edges, trying not to get the very middle of it. And they're really, really subtle. They show up here, they show on here, they show down there. But it just adds the littlest bit of yellow on that white, so it's not as stark as it was. I don't know. Do you guys notice that it's not as stark as it was a minute ago? Before I did that. I mean, probably not from that distance, but it's just, I don't know. It changes it up just the tiniest bit. That I like it better. I don't know. Still, it's pretty white there, though. Let's see. That's not the one I want. There we go. Now it's all grunged up. It's the yellow still there. Tiny bits of yellow. Alright, and what else did we... Oh, the wings. I still have to do something with the wings, don't I? I need something that is tall enough, and I need to find my little girl. And she is here. Alright, put that over there. Put that over there. Alright, where'd she go? Well, I could always find a different little girl. But I had a little girl, so it's kind of annoying that... Well, I haven't done him since I got the new ink. I might want to do him on something. Alright, lost the little girl. I lost lots of stuff. Alright, I still might want to do something with those stamps. Is she under there? No. Don't move things. If you put something in a place, usually don't put it in a different place because you won't find it. At least that's what happened with me. Alright, I'm using my Fluid Matte Medium by Golden. You don't have to use that. You can use Mod Podge or whatever you want. And I kind of like the really long wings with her because it kind of made her look more like a bad angel. Maybe. Now, if I could just get them to go down exactly where they are, that'd be great. That's the hard part, is, you know, let's hope that they are basically where I had them. Yeah, that's where I want them, I think. Alright, I don't have any, what's the word? The cling fill. I don't have any of that right now. But that is what I know Carrie the Griffith says to use to get all the bubbles out and stuff. I'm just going to gently, mostly gently, more gently than that. I'm gonna make sure your brush doesn't have too many, you know, hard bits on it and whatnot too. There we go. I know my wings go off of it a little bit. That's all right. So when I originally created this design, I was thinking wings. But then I really wanted it to be a stamp, which it is. It's one of my. I have two styles. This is the second one that came out. And that was the first one that came out. So that was the first, that was the second. Oh, I just put that in the water. Okay. No, don't do stupid things like I'm doing. As far as messing up your napkin. Where did my other glue go? Oh, here it is. This is the glue I want. I just want to carefully get that glued down. I mean, she might have a broken wing, so that's okay. She seems like the broken wing kind of a gal. I just put my thing in the water is the problem. All right, that can come off. It's fine. All right. I just might want to go over that again with matte medium. Do better with your matte medium than I did. It helps a lot. All right, let me kind of ink them a little bit so that that white is not apparent, because you know there's that little white edge. Just don't want it to be quite as white. And the bow is just the thing, right? I want something across the bottom that she could be standing on. Even if it's just another piece of this red here. Maybe. If I can line it up. Nope, they're not the same size. That won't work for me. I don't know about you guys, but that would not work for me. Too straight. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right. Ink it up a little bit. Ink the edges. Playing with that paint earlier is why I have paint and ink, black ink and white paint all over me, because that's fun. Keep an eye out. One of these Sundays soon, I'm not sure exactly when, I will be doing an interview on PM Artist Studios live stream. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. It'll probably be on a Sunday morning. Not this Sunday, because she hasn't called me yet. We haven't done anything practice-wise. So yeah, that will be coming up. And then on the 13th, I'm going to be doing a live stream with somebody. We haven't, you know, that's on a Saturday, so keep an eye open for that. We're going to practice this Saturday to make sure we got all our ducks in a row. Neither one of us has live streamed with somebody else before, so that'll be fun to figure out. Alright, what I need to do is kind of come in and put another layer of the Mod Podge on there. That's what I need to do. Am I gonna? Probably. Possibly. Or I'll put a whale tail over there. So eventually that'll, you know, it's not perfect. The white still shows a little bit. You can go ahead and come in with that, or you can you know, fussy cutting a napkin. It's not very thick. It'd be really hard to do, and you'd want to make sure you don't have any sticky stuff on your fingers to do it, but you could do it. I mean, this, if you really want your wings to go two ways and you don't want to have that other part, then you could totally fussy cut it. The hardest parts on these particular wings will just be these little bits that kind of come off the edge, but really you could even just kind of cut off the really sticky out one. It'll still look fine. So yeah, this one is not too hard. This one, that would be a lot harder to fussy cut. This one you could potentially fussy cut, and then you could turn them into wings. Yeah, that's what you want to do, is sit here and watch me fussy cut. But, you know. But yeah, her face was just like, I'm not a good angel. So there's that. It still needs something. I don't know what. Maybe a label. But I don't know where I put my labels. I mean, they were right here. Why would they be easy to find when I was just looking at them? Alright. So let's look at all the things we just did. Oh, should I go ahead and see these ones? I also added gesso to. Alright, now the hard part with these is you get all these ridges. So that's going to make it a little more tricky with a stamp. So I'm not sure exactly what the best thing to do for that is. I sort of, I want a nice good size stamp. Oh, should we try the other butterfly one? I don't know. What about this one? This one's tall. Ooh, it is tall, but fits on there like a glove. So, we'll try that. See, I don't need glue for this. I've got blue on there. Should I try this with the blue? The Twilight? I'm going to try it with the Twilight. See how it looks. Because I haven't done it with Twilight yet. That would be the VersaFine Clair Twilight. Because it's like a navy blue. And have I mentioned that I really like navy blue? Alright. I'm going to line this bottom piece down here. And then I'm just careful, adding pressure everywhere. This does not always work, but it gets a little bit better contact most everywhere. It would help if I knew where the creases were, and then I could have kind of focused on those areas. So the creases still show some, but you know, if I ink it a little bit, it might. But I can't do that till it dries, because you know, it is VersaFine Clair. It has to, and it's got a, this is a paint, which is plastic, so it's not porous anymore. So I gotta wait for it to dry before I can do anything in there. But you know, that is the one hard thing about using stamps on collage pieces. Oh yeah, yep, now I'm making it move. Don't do that. Whoops, you don't want big circles though. Don't do what I'm doing. Just, that's not smart. I don't always do smart things. There we go. Alright, so, what about this one? So she says, and then she like does another one. He's a little bit wide. What about the bee? Nope. Ooh, I did the bee. I did another one like this with a tone on tone and did the bee on that one. I love that look. I love the tone on tone with the black stamp. It's very modern. You know? How about a train? Oh, that's messy. It's about a little girl though. Let's see, because it's from a book about a little girl, so I'm wondering maybe a flower. Alright, let me find a flower. I had a flower. I'm going to do the flower in blue. I mean, I could do it in any color, but blue, brown, and black is what I've got in the VersaFine Clair. I do have some stays on, and of course I have the archival ones, but the problem with those is, look at, that's like crazing. That was weird. Maybe I didn't put enough oils on there. Probably would have liked it the other direction. I don't know. I've never stamped this stamp, so I don't know. Alright, I don't hate that. That makes a nice little card. And then, well actually it's a pocket, I think. So that makes a nice little pocket. And then let's see if I do like brown on the edges and then also like do brown for like my background stamp kind of a deal. You know, like I do. Alright, I want to line up. So I'm just pressing around the outsides. So it didn't get in the middle. Well, actually, I kind of wish it did get a tiny bit in the middle. So, you know, just added a little bit more. You know how I do. And this is one of those stamps where it's supposed to look aged. And so, yeah. That's why it doesn't look quite so clear and perfect. So, there is that. So, these are the ones where I did gesso on it and then stamped. That one also did gesso on it. Here's where I use the backing on the tissue. You know, you take your tissue and usually they're about 3 ply. It's the 3rd ply back. There's still a 2nd ply on here I need to take off. So, you know, the one that's clean. And stamp it twice and then just flip one of them. And you can't even tell which one was the front and which one was the back, in my opinion. And then just using book page to do your stamp to make it a focal point, or some packaging, or just some of your dyed paper you've got in your stash, or some coffee dyed paper that is grid paper, also works nicely, or some gessoed or just painted book page works nicely. There's some more of that, the painted book page, or just using that napkin ply and putting it on there. You could use Mod Podge or the gel matte medium. And then this one was with the tea. Let's see. She said it was Jane Monteith, and it's tea bag paper. It's not super cheap. Oh, that's before I fixed the edges. So like this one, I actually fussy cut, so that could easily go on something too, somewhere easily. You know, but I just said we were done, so why would I go back and do something else now? I don't know. But, you know, it would, so this is what it would look like if you were to fussy cut it. So yeah, so there we go. Those are some ideas. Let me know if you have other ideas on how to use a stamp as a focal point on something that is patterned in the background. Because that's all I could think of was gesso and using other paper. Basically, two ways, sorta, kinda. They all look different though. So I hope you all have a delightful day. Love you. Who wants a donut now? I mean, how often do you see this card and you're like, oh, really? Why'd you have to keep using that card? Now I want a donut or coffee or whatever. Oops, sorry.